What's going on, everybody? This is Rick from Studio Spades, and today I'm going to show you how a new clamp tool works. You can use this system to clamp the effect of several fall-offs in Blender Exploder Tool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will show you. First, I'm going to start by dragging in an Exploder tool and making sure it's centered in the world origin. Add it to a collection. And of course, add an object, which I'm going to manipulate with Blender Exploder Tool, which is a plane in this case. And let me scale it up by 5 times so we can see it more clearly. And I'm going to subdivide it a couple of times because I want multiple faces to demonstrate the effect. Now, of course, always add the object you're manipulating to a collection as well and hide it, and then you can load it back into Explorer Tool and you can pin the window so you can process it further. Okay, so for this tutorial I'm going to use the extrude function, but it should work on other functions as well, this clamping system. So let's use an extrude 1, set it to 1 as well. And let me just switch to a matte cap to make things a bit more easily visible. Okay, so I'm also gonna split the faces because I want to displace them upward. And you can do that by filling in a value of, I don't know, 2, for example, under displace when you've enabled split faces. And when you press play, it should move upward if loop 1 is enabled by default, but I'm going to disable that for now because I want to demonstrate the clamp effect, which is part of the fall-off system. So we're going to have to use a fall-off for this one, and I'm going to use a linear fall-off because it's easiest to demonstrate what it does. And I'm also going to add the linear fall-off to the extrude I just added. So fall off under extrude 1, linear fall off. Okay, so what should happen now is whenever you select the linear fall off in Exploder Tool, the main object, of course, which has this linear fall off name, it also has a child, which is the end of the fall off. So you can control to where the fall off is supposed to go. And in this case, we see that the faces get displaced, like I enabled here in Blender Exploder Tool, and they get extruded, depending on the distance of the fall off. And in this case, I'm moving the endpoint. Let's set it to 0 for now. And let's stop using the endpoint and start using the parent object to which the endpoint is attached. So if we move the parent, we have a regular linear fall-off, as you can see. And this, of course, works in every direction, so you can rotate it and move it that way, and that should work as well. Okay, so the clamp, how do the clamps work? Well, we have to go to the fall-off settings, and you can see a couple of disable clamp menus here. It's disabled by default, but we want to enable it, so go to linear fall off and enable one of the clamps, and you should see something happen. So let's just slide the linear fall off a bit over so that the whole plane is in between the parent and the child object of the linear fall off. And let's select the 75% clamp, and you can immediately see something happen. And this is what the clamps do. I've created some curves, and these are the names of these curves, and they clamp the linear fall-off effect, or the fall-off effect. In this case, I'm using a linear one, of course, but they clamp it in a way so that it can look less linear. So this is a more snappy and smooth transition. The beginning seems to be quite fast, as you can see. It pops up, but then later on it'll smooth out. And that's basically what all these curves do. They have their own way of manipulating the fall off. So we have a more S-type curve here. That's why I called it an S-curve, which can look very nice as well. So you can create some cool motion graphics effects or reveal effects with this. And let's compare that to the linear one. So disable it. That's kind of boring, right? Not as cool as the other ones. So let's put it back on and compare it. I really like this this effect. And you can easily create some nice looking smooth animations even with a linear keyframe. If you move the linear fall off here in a linear matter, it will still create this smooth and cool effect. And yeah, there are a couple of curves. So the whip curve goes down as well as up. Now, since we're using that on extrude as well, it'll extrude inward. So I think I'm gonna disable the extrude for now because I don't want anything to extrude inward. So let's just disable it for now. You can see the faces move up and down of their origin and destination. So real cool wavy effect. And of course this works on multiple parameters. So if we go to, I don't know, split faces and use rotate maybe, so 180 degrees on the, oh sorry, we need to disable loop of course. 180 degrees, yeah, that's on the x-axis. So let's pick 180. And of course don't forget to use the fall off here, so linear fall off. And we'll move the fall off again. And now it not only moves up or displaces the faces up, it also rotates 180 degrees. Really nice way to make complex and smooth animations without lots of work. So yeah, it's a very handy motion design tool. And of course, this is all procedural, so anything you put into the plane object will get affected by this. I'm not sure what's going to happen if I add an icosphere. So let's remove the plane, put the icosphere in, hide the plane, and right. So that's what happens to an icosphere. Now, of course, the faces get rotated 180 degrees, so if you put it to 360, it should be back to its original shape. Pretty cool, huh? So I'm going to remove the icosphere again. Oh, whoops. And put back the plane. And grab the linear fall off again. And of course, I don't want to forget that we can also invert the linear fall off here. Pretty cool. And we can also mirror the linear fall off. So the normal linear fall off goes from enabled to disabled, or vice versa, from disabled to enabled, as you can see. But if we mirror it, it goes from disabled to enabled back to disabled again. So now it's disabled, the effect will start now, and nearing the end it'll get disabled again. And of course the clamps work on this as well. So that's how the new clamp system works. I demonstrated it on the linear fall off because that's the easiest way to demonstrate what it does. Maybe I can show you quickly how it works on the sphere fall off as well. So let's go to the rotation and select the sphere fall off and displace under split faces and use the sphere fall off here as well. And then of course move the sphere fall off. And now the effect is still linear. So the default effect. And if we go to, go to the clamp menu on the sphere fall off, the sphere fall off will get clamped as well. So we basically get the same thing that was happening to the linear fall off, only on this spherical fall off. So we get a similar yet very different effect, which is quite cool. And in the future, I'm going to allow you to enable or make your own custom curves. But right now you have to do it with this selection right here that I made. But yeah, I'm thinking about making a version where you can use your own curves as well. But for now, yeah, I think you have quite a nice selection of cool curves here. I also have one that does it in steps. So that's a more Boolean way of doing it. Can also be cool, but not as smooth as the smooth curves, of course. So keep that in mind. Pretty cool. Anyway, that's how the clamper works. And I hope you enjoy this short and sweet tutorial of the new clamper featured in the new version of Exploder Tool 2.16. This update is, of course, as always, free and is available in your Blender Market account right now. So go and get it if you already own Blender Exploder Tool. And if you don't own it yet, what are you doing with your life? Come on, man, help me out here and help yourself out. All right, well, take care.